Today I want to talk about live coding music, which is something I've started doing a lot of. I got into it as someone who loves electronic music a lot, but I've got quite frustrated with how electronic musicians often hide behind their decks and they've got these little hot knobs that they're like touching and not really doing anything. So I was kind of interested in how you can make this more transparent and how you can show people exactly what you're doing. So I want to do two things today. I want to show what live coding music is and why it's kind of cool, or if not cool, at least kind of fun and interesting. And secondly, I just want to make this more general point about how the tools that we use for the art that we're creating are really important, and they're political and creative statements in and of themselves. So to start off, live coding looks a bit like this. You say, on channel 1, this is D1, let's have a sound, and that sound's just going to be kick. That's just a kick drum. And if we wanted to go 4 times a cycle, we just go like this, or 8, or kind of more interesting rhythm like this. Like that. You can change the speed of it, BPM, beats per minute. Okay, and that's nice. And then when we're going to stop it, we just tell it to hush. So it's kind of neat, and I love that openness. You, as the performer, you're just open. You're like, this is what I'm doing, this is my music, have a look at it. Steal it if you want, whatever. So I really like that, and I also love how compact it is. You heard that was kind of a complex rhythm, and it's the language I use is actually very inspired by more Eastern rhythms, which have typically like polyrhythms and things that we don't get in Western classical music or Western club music. So I'm really interested in that. It's very compact and it's very expressive. Yeah, so this is live coding is a tool that works very well for me for music, and I guess I just want to, in the context of the hum, I just want to offer up the idea that the tools we use are very important. And if you're a designer and you're doing all your things on Adobe, or you're an artist and you're promoting all your things on Instagram, it's a big political and artistic decision you make, and I think that's important. And that's the context I see the live coding in. So with that, I'll just have a little demo showing what typically I kind of do when I'm on stage and I'm making a song live. And because it's so short, I had a little play this morning just so I didn't have nothing when I came up here, because it takes a little while to get things going. So there's one really famous drum sample called Amen, the Amen break. It's the most used drum sample of all time, and I really like it. It's very simple, but we can say something kind of interesting, which is, okay, let's sample from it randomly. So it's taking this Amen break and chopping it into 8 here, and then for each beat, it's choosing a random bit of that sample. Or we can chop it in 16, and do this, and that's kind of cool. And we can also do something, I don't know if we're panning, we've got pan here, but if we do, then we can say, okay, let's make it go a sine wave side to side like this. And let's make it do a sine wave, and then a saw wave side to side. And then a sine wave, then a saw wave, then a square wave, and then purling noise. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then you think, okay, it'd be nice if we start playing with the rhythm a bit now. What if we, 30% of the time, actually we slow it down. Okay, that's cool. And next, maybe we want to make quarter notes going off to the side. That's cool. And now we want to start putting some effects in. Maybe some distortion. That's cool. Maybe we can turn it up a little bit. And okay, so that's kind of the start bit. And then I like PlayStation games a lot, so I use a lot of samples from PlayStation games. This one's from James Bond. And I've made this little rhythmic pattern. And it's really fun because there's everyone screaming and going wild, if you hear that. And then you might want to start bringing in a kick. got some Missy Elliot in, and she's just. Like hardcore music. I've been super happy since I've been in Netherlands and been listening to hardcore in Berlin. So I coded this hardcore distorted kick, which goes a bit like. Did I bring that in? Oh, I need to do something here. This is running my back end bit. There, you hear that in the background. I'm using that load. This is a stupid sample of a little kid saying, "Hey, you're all slanted your market?" It's so really cute that I found on the internet. That I use a lot. And that's kind of what you do. And then you might bring it down. You might want to bring it back up. You might want to play a bit with this. Slang your mark in. You can just hear him a little bit. He's very cute. Maybe some hi-hats. Yeah, and then that's it. Yeah.
Maybe you can make a nice beat for Babusi, and Babusi can do his...
Sounds good, yeah. I love those rhythms, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
What do you like most about this live coding session?
There's an improvisational element to it that I really like. It's we've played at some jazz clubs with this type of thing, although we got kicked out after that because they said it was too hard. So they weren't so into it. But I really like this improvisational aspect that you get up on stage not really knowing what you're doing, but it's fully open. But more than that, I actually just like electronic music can be very closed and insular, and it's not sharing. And my day job's a data scientist, and I like the open source community. That's like my big love. I love sharing things and building tools together and community. And electronic music isn't so good at that. And I really see this as a really nice bridge between open source community and electronic dance music.
Are there other people doing this? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, we've got a big community in the Netherlands. We've been putting on parties, for the last 6 months. I've been playing it maybe every 2 weeks, I think.
Wow.
Or, yeah, I was here last month.
Yeah,
and we're playing a lot. It's a big international community, big community in the UK, Colombia, Japan, we're everywhere. It's a very small community, but very supportive.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, you can go on the internet and the forums and you get help from the people who literally are building these tools, which is amazing.
Great. Are there any questions for Joe? In the back.
What's the tool you're using?
So I use, the bit you saw me working with here is called tidal cycles. So it's based off Haskell, but it's very easy to learn. As you can see, I hope that even if you can't tell exactly what's happening, you can see that that's going to make a kick going about 4, something to do with 4, and you can kind of follow it, and it's very quick to learn. I learned it very quickly. My friend Anton was learning recently and also picked it up pretty quick. He was making some nice things within a week. So it's called Tidal Cycles, and it's also Super Collider, which I code a lot of my synths in. But that's kind of a nerdy side thing. You don't need to be interested in that yet.
There was another question here.
Yeah, same question basically. Would you recommend this as a first foray into live coding?
Right. I love it because I think you can represent very complex rhythms very easily, which, as I mentioned, I'm really interested in. I'm not so into just like 4 to the 4, like I kind of like all these wild rhythms and putting them into electronic dance music. So if you like that, it's good. But you can choose whatever. It's all good, and you just find something that suits you. This suits me. Yeah.
Is there a question there?
Is it possible to make different kinds of music? For example, classical music with this tool?
Yeah. I mean, most of my friends working in this are making some form of dance music or ambient music, kind of electronic stuff. But definitely, I've got one friend who live codes with a piano. So he works with a concert pianist, and they're live coding together, but playing piano, which is amazing. You can sample from anything. I'm just triggering samples here, so you could get samples of whatever you wanted and trigger them. And it's really easy to do. And I've got friends making ambient, trance, techno, some more classical, jazz-inspired stuff. It's really whatever you want. It's more a tool to get you somewhere. Yeah.
There's
Is there a node-based alternative?
Sorry?
Node-based alternative for that tool?
Oh, I don't know. There's a
What
bunch.
is that? Sorry?
A node-based alternative?
Yeah.
Is that,
Ah, that's a program.
Yeah, like you mean node is in the general paradigm, like a programming paradigm. So just for anyone who doesn't like node programming is more when you're joining up boxes to each other. So you might have a box that says, give a pulse like this, or don't give a pulse when it does this, or something. Yeah, there's a bunch of those. You can do it in Pure Data and Max MSP, which are two of the most famous ones. And yeah, I've seen people live code with that and do some really nice things.
Do you think that we all should learn more how to code?
I think it's probably the best thing I've done in my life. I think when I learned code, it just so if you'd like the best things in your life, then just do it. But it really,
You're convinced.
I think it's the closest thing you get to a superpower. You have some music you want to make, you can kind of code it. You have some art you want to make that combines all this technology. You want to build a website. For me, coding is the best thing, and I'm very lucky to be able to do that with music and art, as well as scientific research and things.
Thanks a lot.
And so much.
And maybe we hear you later.
Yeah,